Well, residents in Beverly Hills in Evaton West have had their houses demolished due to illegal land occupation. The affected community members claim that they paid 22,000 rand to secure the plot for their homes. It's alleged that the land, which is privately owned, was illegally sold to some of these unsuspecting homeowners. Let's make sense of this for you now. Bring in the chair of Abahlali baseMjondolo's Gauteng branch, that's Melita Ngcobo, who joins us for more on her thoughts about this. And Melita, it's great to have you on the program. Thank you so much indeed for making time. Let me begin with just gauging from you and the work you do, how frequent something like this is in Gauteng and perhaps in South Africa, more broadly speaking. The idea of people being sold plots that essentially don't belong to the people selling it to them.
It is happening frequently, and in our organization, we are not allowing people to buy land from the people that they don't know. In our organization of Abahlali baseMjondolo, the land is not supposed to be sold.
Yeah. What do you know about the circumstances that led to these demolitions? Because there have been, conflicting sometimes recollections about how those people got there and who allowed them to build the land, the houses.
It shows that the people went there because they thought they have bought the land. That is why they have built it on that land, because they knew that the land it is theirs, because they have bought that land. The circumstances that lead people to build on the land is because of our government doesn't care about us. And if you register a house, we have the C forms from 1996. You will wait as long as you can wait, and there is a corruption of RDPs. They sell RDPs all the time. That is why most of the people are homeless, and they end up living on the land that is not that is corrupt.
Yeah, understandably, a lot of people around that area are quite anxious about whether or not they've built their houses on land that's privately owned without even knowing it. If someone is offering you a plot of land, Melita, what should you be asking in order to ascertain that you're on that land legally?
Because there is a lot of corruption, you have to do a research about that land. And in our organization, we don't believe on privately owned land because of there is a lot of land in South Africa that is being privately owned, and most of the people, they are homeless. And the privately owned land, most of them, they are empty, and nobody's building anything on the private owned land, and when most of the people are homeless.
What do you mean you don't believe in privately owned land?
We don't believe, because there is a hectare of land that is being owned by one person.
Okay. What are you basing that on?
Let's say, let us look on the floods in eThekwini. Most of the people now, they need land, and most of land is privately owned, is being owned by one person.
Who is that person?
There are many, like now when on this one, when we talk about the bank, it is one person who is owning the land, who is planning to build houses and sell the houses to the people who are not affording to buy those houses.
Do you know who that one person is?
No.
Okay, and how do you know that that one person is the individual who owns all this land?
Most of the land, when they say it is privately owned, is because of there is a person maybe who's not living here in South Africa, like in farm. Most of the people, they're working on one farm that is being owned by one surname for generations.
Okay. Let me get a sense from you, Melita, what kind of reprieve some of these affected residents may have. If people, in fact, did pay for, the plot that is now, we know, owned by, other players, what can they do to get that money back?
It is very hard, but they can go to the women rights lawyers, and then they can go to the women rights lawyers so that they can go to the human rights lawyers, and then they will see how they can help them.
All right. Melita Ngcobo, thanks very much for speaking to us. Melita is the chairperson of Abahlali baseMjondolo in Gauteng. By the way, just a bit more context for you around the story in Evaton. Some of the residents there claim that they paid an individual by the name of Andrew Molefe, who is the Wildebeestfontein Community Association chairperson, and they say they gave him those 22,000 rands for the plot, and that's why they were so confident in building the land. Malungelo Boys, who's been watching the story for us, spoke to Andrew, and he believes that the demolitions are illegal and is therefore heading to court to reverse that. It's obviously really concerning, especially in a context where activists are telling us how widespread something like this actually is in our